I'm Georgia. I finished in 2013, and since then I studied at RMIT University doing communication design, graphic design. So I was there for about 3 years. I took a year off in the middle to travel Europe, which I did solo, which was super fun. So I've always had an interest in travel. And then from there I was working at Stanley Black & Decker. So I was there for about 3 years as part of their in-house graphic design team. It was 3 of us girls working super hard. I got to experiment with a lot of different styles of graphic design when I was there. I got to do everything from web design to animation to posters, billboards, you name it. And then just recently, my partner and I have quit our jobs and we're heading on a trip around Australia in this van that we've got behind us. So a lot of exciting times to come.
My name's Tahir. My journey after high school was probably a bit different. After taking a few months off, I was fortunate enough to have a family friend who got me a job at Melbourne Grammar School, where I was running or assisting in running an after-school care program for preps to sixes, where we offered all different types of activities. Since then, I've done a few different jobs. Over the school holidays, I was actually working at Caulfield Grammarians, but other ventures were I used to work at a startup called Happy Ride Care. That was a fantastic experience, and then most recently I've just started a new job at Winning Appliances. I guess for me, the first steps of high school were probably quite daunting. I had a bit of work experience prior to leaving high school, but you do have a lot of responsibilities that you didn't necessarily have at high school. So picking up those responsibilities and taking charge was quite difficult. I was fortunate enough to have a friend who helped me get my first proper job, I guess, after high school. That was really beneficial and helpful. But I think after leaving high school, the steps really came with a bit of a push. And once you get that push, kind of just taking on all those challenges, all those little helping hands, and going with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Being at high school, probably either from having an older brother, having parents who kind of want to guide you in the right direction, or just hearing it from teachers. I think a lot of my peers and myself thought that life after high school was really, really full on and scary, and you kind of had to know everything and have that idea from the get-go. And I kind of just realised after leaving school and having that few years since then that you don't have to have it all sorted, you don't have to have everything figured out or know exactly what you want to do. I still don't really know what I want to do, but you can set your own path, you can do what you want to do, and you do realise that if you make the most out of whatever you're trying or working at the minute, then it's really all okay.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I found something similar in that once I left school, I thought it was going to be, I found Year 12 quite hard, in particular with the folio subjects, and I thought it was just going to keep being so difficult through the career or through university, but I was really surprised in the freedom that I could have with creativity and then also the freedom of travel and being old enough to have your own responsibilities, make your own choices. Like you said, decide what you want to do. Whether that's, for me, it was traveling for a few months by myself, and now it's traveling with my partner for the next couple of years in the van. So it's not as pigeonholed, I think, as you might think when you're at school. You definitely have your own life after school. With graphic design, it's super competitive. I suppose every industry is super competitive when you're first coming out into the workforce. So for me, it was, what place do I actually want to work? Do I want to be an in-house graphic designer? Do I want to be an ad agency graphic designer? Do I want to freelance and do it on my own? So it was just trying to figure out what's going to be the best fit for me, and then where will I actually be able to work?
Yeah, I think I really agree with that. And for me, it was confidence, simply going for your first proper job after high school. Going for that first interview, it is very daunting, especially whether it's full-time work, whether it's your first job out of uni in the career that you really want to focus on. Whatever the situation is, it can be really daunting. What I found, having been a part of different industries now and having had a few different jobs, is every interview is beneficial. You become more confident, and then that shows all your fantastic qualities. So at first it really was the confidence, and then after that, of course, there is a lot of competition as well, so you just need to back yourself.
A desire to travel really changed what my goals were and where I see myself in a few years, or what I want to be doing in the future. looking into the future of what graphic design and what work is going to look like, it's changed so much since we've been working from home that, I mean, for me, flexibility is everything. Flexibility's, you know, I can be in an office, I can be on the road, I can work from my laptop, I can, you know, work from a van, I can work in a small country town. I think flexibility is what makes it exciting after school. You have the flexibility to choose what you want to do anywhere, anytime. I think one of the challenges was, you hear it a lot, it's all about who you know, not what you know, and so it was a bit nerve-wracking being, I don't really know any other graphic designers yet, you know. How do I get started? You know, and you look at all these other amazing designers and their incredible work, and you're thinking, I think you touched on it earlier, confidence as well. You know, is my work going to be good enough? And am I going to be able to get a good job? Am I going to be excited? Am I going to enjoy it? But once I think you get started, just chipping away little bit by little bit, you know, meet one person for coffee, contact someone, have a talk, show someone your work, even just making work, for me, helped me build my confidence to get out into the workforce.
Yeah, I really do think it's confidence. The last two jobs, I've had the one I'm currently in, and I was working at a startup for both those jobs. I had zero experience in those industries, and I remember for that startup interview, I sat there and I'd had a few interviews, so I went in going, I'm going to be confident, I'm going to be true to myself. I'm probably not going to get this job, but it's going to be good experience from the interview standpoint. And I just said to my boss at the time, the person interviewing me, I'll work harder than anyone else you hire. I might not have the experience, but I'll make up for it with my work ethic. And it really was the confidence going into that got me that job. Yes, I was scared to fail, but looking back potentially 2 years prior to that, I never would have even gone for that interview. So the challenges really are probably more in your head than what it actually is. Leaving school, whether it's this year, the year before, or next year, you are still new to the workforce, and when people are interviewing you, they do realise that. So what they're looking for really is someone who's willing to take risks, challenge themselves, challenge the people above them, but, you know, do something different, I guess, rather than just doing the same old thing that everyone else walking into that interview would do.
Definitely. And I think it's something to remember is, like, you're not expected to know everything when you start. You know, you're going to have great mentors, especially if you're going into a grad role or you're starting out during a startup. It's always going to be, you're not expected to understand exactly how it's all going to work, exactly what you're going to do. You'll have mentors, you'll have people above you to help you, work alongside you. I think for me, it came with a lot of excitement, being able to quit my job, because I'd been there for a few years, and I think it was coming to the point where I knew my way around what I was making wasn't exciting me creatively as it had before. So whether it was to be moving into the van, I think it was time, no matter what, I felt that I was going to be moving on from that job. So it's a bit daunting, but I had a really wonderful manager that I got really close to, I would call a personal mentor as well, that when I said, this is what I want to do, I want to take this next adventure, I want to do something completely different, it was just met with encouragement and excitement. So it was a great transition for me.
Yeah, I guess similarly, leaving my last job, I was really, really sad actually to leave, because I loved that job and I do miss it still. But I wanted to try something different, and as I've said, challenge myself and continue to challenge myself. But as you said, my previous boss, I have a fantastic relationship with him. When I told him I was leaving, he was, of course, upset, but just excited for me. And I think that step was necessary, but it certainly was. It was upsetting to leave, but it was a good decision and a good step to continue growing. You're given a task, and as it was such a small startup, it was very much Tahir, go do this, and that's all you get. So I remember, I think my first task was creating the merchandise, or sorry, not the merchandise, but the polos that the nannies would be wearing, and I didn't get budgets or anything like that, didn't get colour schemes, anything at all. And I remember going back to my boss saying, is this good enough? And he just said, I don't care, just get it done. We need to get it done. And he said to me, Tahir, I back your judgment. And I think that was a big step for me, because I wanted to kind of be babied through it and be helped through it. And I realised, you know, you do need independence in every job you have, and that was probably the key takeaway for that job. You need to kind of, the tasks you have, you need to make the most of them and back yourself and make sure you do the best you possibly can.
I think having it unplanned is some of the best parts of it all, because I think, you know, you've come through school, it's very structured. You come through uni, it's also structured. The workforce is as well, you know, in a sense, is very structured. So for me, the lure of, I get to decide completely what I want to do, and, you know, all my partner and I have to do is set up camp, settle in, cook a meal, decide what food we want next. It brings the outlook right back into just the immediate. What do I feel like doing? Do I want to go swimming? Do I want to go fishing? Have we got enough food for later? Or what's the weather? Do we have to be heading towards the southern half of Australia as the weather gets warmer and the rain comes in? It's the lack of structure that's going to be exciting for me, definitely.
What was that question you said?
With the uncertainty.
Yeah, okay, because I think, if you want to answer that as well, just...
Yep.
With future work.
Future work, yeah.
Just uncertainty with current job and future work.
Yeah.
Yeah, the current COVID situation, like anything good.
To be honest, my answer to that is probably a bit different. Having uncertainty really does scare me to some extent. I like to plan, I like to have a future, even whether it's with jobs or with friends or traveling or whatever it is. I like to know what I'm going to be doing. That's just me. I guess the importance, if you do feel like me, is have that conversation with your friends, your family, set out what you want to achieve. But at the end of the day, your plans that you've set today are going to change in the future. I think everyone I've spoken to, whether it's for jobs or what they just want to achieve with their friends and family, what they said to me at one point is probably different today. So just take that on board. It can be scary. I know firsthand that it can freak you out a bit, but, you know, don't be scared to have those conversations with people that you have good relationships with, and they'll tell you that they have similar thoughts as well.
Yeah.
Definitely I wouldn't change anything that I've done since high school or anything like that at all. For me, it's definitely about making the most out of your jobs, out of your life just in general. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, then in my opinion, you should really have a good think about what you really want to do and what you're really passionate about. Of course, in life you are going to have challenges in work, in life in general, but for me, as long as I'm doing things that make me happy, that's what I want to be doing. I don't want to do something that I have to do and I don't find interesting or I don't have a passion for. So I just want to do something that makes me happy and fulfills me.
Completely agree. Couldn't agree more. Doing something that makes me happy, what I want to do, is everything, you know. I think when I was at school, I had this vision, you know, uni, this is the next, this is next, this is next. And then I think as I traveled, I experienced more, that kind of widened what I wanted to do. And it was just following what makes me happy. What am I excited to do? What am I interested in?
I guess probably my perception of like working was what you see on TV. I think a really good example is probably The Office. It's as weird as that. It's not like the jokes that are in The Office, but, you know, sitting at a desk and doing more like writing paperwork, etc. To some extent, I do that in my current job, but there is a lot of freedom and independence. When I was younger, I always thought, how do you operate a job, and how do you do a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and get everything done without someone telling you exactly what to do? And you kind of do realise that you just have tasks and you do them, and you have big goals at the end of each month or at the end of each quarter, and you just aim to achieve them, and it just comes naturally. So it's definitely different to what I thought, but it really isn't that scary or difficult. It kind of just rolls, I guess.
I think I found it a little bit of a rude shock when I moved from university to my work, because I think at uni doing something creative, you know, I'm taking pictures someday, I'm building a folio the other, I'm making more or less, graphic design was more like making art when I was at university. And then the idea, like you said, of, all right, so now I'm a desk person. You know, now I sit in an office from 9 to 5 every day. Is that what I wanted to do? Was that what I saw, you know, when I started following this as a career path? Probably not. So it was a bit of a shock initially. But then I started to get into the rhythm of it. I started to find places where I can be creative, and places where, you know, you just have to get this done now. You don't have time to toy with ideas. So it was definitely different than what I expected, because I thought when I was following the graphic design, I wasn't going to be at a desk. I don't know why I thought that, but in my mind I was like, no, this isn't a desk job, until it was. Yeah. But in saying that, the other pleasant surprise that came with COVID was when I moved to working from home. I found that I really loved working autonomously, you know, just putting my head down and getting stuff done, and I can have the music on and I can be creative in my own space. So I think it's always changing, and it's always not what you expected. I think just take it as it comes, you know, just take it step by step. What comes next, then take that challenge on. You know, if you're nervous about finding work, or what uni do I want to do, just try something. If you don't like it, then you can change your mind. Just have a go. Just keep trying something, and it'll work itself out eventually.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. Just have fun. I think you're only 18, 19. You're not expected to have everything figured out. Just have fun. Make the most of it. Try different things. Don't be scared to do something different that you perhaps wouldn't have done because you were too scared to do it. Just have a good time, and that's when you'll be the happiest, I guess.
And it's such a good time to try things, and you don't ever have to stop trying new things. You know, it's not like, oh, now I've got my job. This is the only thing I do from now on. You know, you can up roots and travel Australia if you must, if that's what you feel. Or you know, you can quit your job and try something new. There's no time to stop having a go.